Good morning and welcome back to Miniature Monday here on Gaming with ADHD, where today we're going to continue our look at Cyberpunk Red Combat Zone by taking a look at the miniatures for the Bozos Starter Game. Now, Cyberpunk Combat Zone was released in 2023 by our Talsorian Games and Monster Fight Club, and this particular gang represents essentially some evil clowns in the cyberpunk universe. I will be honest, I do not know a whole lot about them outside of the miniatures that I've assembled. But today we're going to take a look at the miniatures. I'll tell you what I think of the sculpts and the actual production. And then we'll also take a look at some of the cards that you receive as part of the starter game. Now, before we get started, do make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I do try to put out a few different videos each week covering all sorts of tabletop content, whether it's miniatures, board games, role-playing, or anything in between. In addition, we usually do a few different live streams here during the week, whether it's participating in role-playing live plays or just a couple of hangout and chill streams where I paint miniatures. All sorts of content, and I'd love for you to come along and see what we have to share. So, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. And I don't know why I'm talking strange. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. All right, so first up we have Big Top. Now, Big Top is the leader of the Bozos. This is, in reality, the only miniature that I actually had to assemble. He's got kind of that Dr. Octopus kind of thing on his back. I mean, as you can see there, it's got a little bit of a circus organ, but then it's also got the additional cybernetic arms. Looks like it could also be some sort of a jump pack of sorts, but I don't know. It's interesting, but he does have that circus ringleader look to him. I actually do really like this model. The cybernetic cane, everything that goes about him. He's got the foot crossed behind him. This is a nice model. Now, there are some mold lines that you have to be aware of. If you've watched any of my other reviews of the Cyberpunk miniatures, mold lines aren't too bad in most cases, but the plastic that they use is relatively soft, so it can be a little bit difficult to clean up sometimes. Now, I haven't actually cleaned all of it up. I did just assemble the models as best I could without a lot of cleanup because I wanted you to be able to see what they would look like in that state. Obviously, you can put in as much or as little work as you want towards cleanup. I'm more towards the little side, but overall, this model does still come out well, and I think even the mold lines, for someone like me who doesn't clean them up the best, will still hide pretty well amongst everything that's going on with this model. Overall, I really do like it. I think he's a lot of fun. I'm not sure why he's got a stethoscope around his neck, but that could make for some interesting story components. But other than that, it's a good model. Probably my favorite. Actually, no, again, I can guarantee you this is my favorite out of the entire set. But there you go. That's Big Top. And next up, we've got Blammo, the Bozos Specialist. Now, from here on out, all of the miniatures are single piece. There was no assembly required outside of mounting them to their bases. Also, I did not mention it with Big Top. All of these bases were 3D printed on an FDM printer. So that's the filament where you have a line that's of plastic that's melted and just deposited on the base. So sometimes they look a little rough, but I like how they look overall. And so outside of mounting this guy to the base, you didn't really have to do anything. But this guy is straight up a clown. With the frilly pants and the giant shoes, plus a probably not very we'll call it opponent friendly club and bomb in his hands. But otherwise, I mean, it's a decent looking model. Obviously, all of these are going to be clown related, so not necessarily my favorite theme, but the miniatures really do play into it really, really well. I think there'll be a little bit of a challenge for me to paint and make them look good, but I've been stretching myself over the last year, so I think it'll come out okay. But this is Blammo. Next up, we've got the Deadringers. Now, these are... I put both of these models up because essentially they're the same figure. They're just mirrored before being put into the casting or molding process, however they did it. I probably mounted these a little too far back on the base. Not quite sure why I did that. They are single piece, and overall they're fine. This one here on the gray base, for some reason, is leaning really far back. So I might actually go through and redo that, because it is a little bit odd. The reason I put both of them on the display at the same time is because that's actually how they play. You're going to put both models on the table at the same time, and if one of them dies, you will remove both of the models. So something to keep in mind. But overall, nice detail, especially on the leggings, a lot of the detailing on the dress and the hair. The Ceocast really does give you some good details if your designer actually uses it. And I think this one actually really captures it, especially with the hand being raised up, playing with the hair. These are going to be really interesting to get painted up, especially if I can make it look nice and not too clownish. But it's me, so we'll see. Overall, some fun models and actually some really, really good detail and quality on these. So this is Deadringers. Now, of course, what would a clown-based team be without the Jester? Now, Jester is a good model, especially when you look at it sort of with like the Harley Quinn kind of vibe, at least the original Harley Quinn. Obviously, original Harley Quinn was not the original inspiration either, but regardless, I do like this one. The mold lines aren't bad. You can definitely see it at the top on her Jester's cap, especially right there in the front. The mold line is a lot more pronounced. But I do like the cybernetic legs that they've given to her. Overall, it's a decent looking model. Not a lot of the problems that we've seen in some of the other models that I've reviewed. But for a single piece model, she's actually come out pretty well. Will be interesting to see her painted up in the more pinks and blues that they show on the card, as opposed to the red and black that I'm initially leaning towards. But who knows? I might find a way to do something with that. I think there could be some interesting, ideas there, maybe with some pinks and grays. Still soften it up to match the colors of the Bozos. But also considering I have already done the Tiger Claws, which are a lot of pinks and purples as well. Maybe I will try changing up the color scheme, which goes a little bit out of my wheelhouse normally, but we'll see. But otherwise, Jester's still a good model, some good detail. I do like the diamond pattern on the leg and on the back. Overall, it's a nice model, and I think she'll paint up really well. Next up, we've got the organ grinder. Now, obviously, he's replaced his pipe organ with a chainsaw, but he still does have that clown aesthetic with the pants, with the giant shoes, and also with his rather large nose. But overall, it's a nice model as far as clowns go. I think it'll be fun to paint up. A lot of these are going to be real interesting because the cards show them as having white makeup, which is what you traditionally associate with clowns, obviously. But I'm also kind of debating: do I want to go with the all white, which can have its own challenges, or do I want to stretch myself and try some different things? Some of these will definitely allow for that. I think this guy will as well. The card does show him with a lot of white skin tone, but he's also got tattoos and other things that show up. So, I think it could be interesting to do some different things with his skin tones. Maybe like have the face, or maybe the makeup doesn't go all the way down the arm, so actually show a couple of different skin tones. I've got some ideas on how I'd go about that. Overall, the molding looks okay. It seems a little, not so great here on the back side of the chainsaw, but other than that, not a ton of bad mold lines that I would worry about. But otherwise, it's fine. It's a clown with a chainsaw. I mean, can you really go wrong with that? But that is Organ Grinder. Now, last up, we do have Prankster. Now, I will be honest, this is probably my least favorite of all the models. He's got a lot of good parts going for him, like the head and the hair, I think, is very well done. The pants and the shoes are actually pretty well done as well. You do see some stronger mold lines on this one. But the weakness is actually coming around right now. It's I'm going to call it a super soaker in his right hand, which is molded into the leg and honestly lost a lot of the detail. And then as I started looking at it more, the arm that he's got up against his chest is also very shallow, not very detailed. It almost blends into the torso of the model. So it looks strange. And I don't know. There's something about it that just, I don't know. Honestly, I think it's the hands and the way that the hands and the guns just kind of blend into the model, where you lose some detail is a little frustrating. I realize you'll be able to paint it and, like at least show that the piece is there, but at least the 3D sculpting just kind of gets lost, and that's a little bit frustrating. So overall, not a bad model, but definitely my least favorite out of the entire set. All right, now as a final look, we will go ahead and take a look at the cards that you get in the set. Now, we're not going to look at everything. I mean, I'm going to zip through some of it pretty quickly. This is more just to give you a general idea. I have not played with this faction, so don't expect me to give you the grand strategy on how to win with the Bozos. I'm still working on painting things, and I haven't put it to the table yet. Yes, that's my fault. But we will take a look at what else you do get in the box, because it's a decent amount for what you pay. So first off, you do have all of your unit cards. Now, you're going to get at least 2 for each model. So like Big Top, you have the regular, plus you're going to have a 1-star version. So basically it's a promoted version. You can tell he has extra armor, better stats. His skills get upgraded in a couple of spots. And sometimes you'll see different abilities, or the ability is upgraded or changed. So just keep that in mind. Basically it's for campaign play. So we're going to get 2 versions of Big Top. We're going to get 2 versions of Blammo, 2 versions of the Deadringers. Basically, it's going to change the dice and none of the skills, but get you some better dice. You get 3 Jesters. So starts off where she really doesn't get any additional skills. She just gets some better dice and 1 skill upgrade. But then she also, when she gets to the final version, she has the blackmail files, all green dice, and 1 more upgrade to her skills. You're going to get 2 cards for Organ Grinder, regular and a single upgrade. And same with Prankster, where instead of upgrading his dice, he's going to get an extra dice and 1 skill upgrade. So those are the unit cards. You're also going to get your objectives. So Pyrotechnic Show, All the World a Stage, Ship of Fools, Stunning Performance, Freak Show, House Party, Tick, 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 Tick. Okay, that's just funny. Take out 2 or more rivals using blast attacks. Improv Show, end the game with loot attached to 2 or more characters. The Ultimate Prank. At the start of the game, secretly write down a rival character. If that character is taken out, reveal what you wrote and achieve the objective. And Wounded Leader. So this is strange objective. Discard this after you win a game. Ongoing, this gang's current street cred is reduced by 1. Why would you want lower street cred? I don't know. Anyways, that's the objectives. Like I said, I'm not going to give you any like strategies because I don't got any. All right. We then have the Bozos specific gear. We've got Walloper, Heavy Pistol, Cyberdeck, which is good because there is no Netrunner by default in the gang. The Flower Gag, Bozo Bombs, Inflatable Mallet, Shotgun, Acid Soaker, Grenade Pie. Oh. It's a grenade, but instead of a grenade, it's a pie. Get it? Because clowns. Whoopee Cushion, Spinning Bow Tie Deflector, Wind Up Bombs, Grenade Launcher, Grapple Gun, Chainsaw, Rocket Skates, Comically Oversized Scissors, Grim Grin is a drug, the Joke Reverser, the Last Laugh, Assault Rifle, Giggle Juicer. Come on, folks, let's keep it family friendly. Rocket Launcher and the Doctor Gag. Hence why Big Top has a stethoscope. There we go. Figured it out. All right. You do have a couple of programs. Nano Regeneration, Balloon Animals, Every Fool Has His Day, I Am Rubber, and Awesome Memes. So when you give somebody a cyber deck. You've also got a loot deck, which, again, I need to go through these, but I believe these are more... I'm not sure if they're unique to each deck. If they are, then that is going to be a massive loot deck that I have, since I have all of the starter gangs so far. All right. Last up, we've got the scenario, the Killing Joke. So the Bozo team seeking to prove their worth as the defender. The other team is the attacker. When the game ends, if there are 2 or fewer objective tokens on the board, the attacker wins. Otherwise, the defender wins. If the defending Bozo team wins, they win the campaign. If the attacker wins, they may promote up to 2 characters. So, basically, you know, survive the scenario with, you know, more objectives than the attacker. So, okay. Anyways, it's nice that they include something, try to give it a flavor for the particular faction in question. Obviously, you've got a big stack of cards for, you know, everything from equipment to characters. You know, I do think all of the gangs are generally worth the money, especially because they are playable out of the box, at least in my understanding, and give you things so you can at least upgrade and keep playing without having to buy more models. Obviously, they do have more available, but, you know, for a basic starter, I think it's pretty good. So, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give it a like. And like I said, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Don't forget, there are links down below to DriveThruRPG and Amazon, where, you know, you can help support the channel if you choose. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your time, and we will talk to you next time.